Once again, welcome everyone to this webinar, the third Trade Talk series of 2024, organized by cashewinformation.com. Today, the topic of discussion is about the Guinea Bissau Cashew season 2024. Today, two speakers are there with us to present on the cashew scenario in Guinea Bissau. Now, I'd like to introduce our first speaker, Mr. John Rao. Mr. John Rao is an engineer, MBA based in West Africa. He is the managing director of Bissau Cashew, Guinea Bissau, and has been trading in agri-commodities for over 2 decades. Our next speaker is Mr. Pradeep J. Varghese, Hero Impacts, TRB. Mr. Pradeep will speak about the current state of shipping in Guinea-Bissau. Hero Impacts is one of the earliest and leading agriculture commodity companies operating across 9 regions in Africa. They specialize in the trade of cashew, sesame, and soybeans. Their extensive infrastructure includes warehouses, drying yards, and logistic facilities in most of the operational regions. Hero Impacts is among the few companies that procure products directly from the source and deliver them to the destinations worldwide, ensuring quality and reliability at every step. Now, with this, I conclude the introduction. We encourage all the delegates participating in this forum to use the chat facility to ask questions, which will be taken up at the end of all presentations. Now, I invite our first speaker, Mr. John Rao. Welcome, Mr. John Rao. Over to Mr. John Rao.
To all my friends in Africa, good afternoon, in Africa and Europe, and to all my friends in Asia and in particular in Vietnam and in India, good evening. It's nice of you to take your weekend evening off to participate in the session. I see a lot of people are already online, which shows a lot of interest in what's happening in this part of the world. And rightly so, because in the Northern Cycle, we are now on to the last 3 countries, Gambia, Senegal, and Guinea-Bissau. Given the turbulent events of this season, lower crops everywhere, heat wave, El Nino, I think there is a heightened amount of interest in our region. And yes, today, so you have 2 people right on the ground, Pradeep and myself. We hope we can answer your questions. So instead of making a big detailed presentation with a lot of nice colors, we thought we'll just limit ourselves to maybe 3 or 4 minutes of introduction. And after that, we'll throw it open to all your questions, because I'm sure all of you have registered basically to ask us questions and not to see us giving you nice charts, okay? And so fine. A little bit of orientation on this season. The government has been very proactive this year. Normally, the complaint has been that they declare the season open very late. And this year, they have taken the initiative. They opened the season right in March. And so that cannot be a complaint against the government this year. They've also reduced the taxes a little bit. The Imposto Extraordinario, the ACI, these kinds of taxes were reduced. But the main reduction was in the base tributaria. That is the reference price used to calculate duties. It was $900 last year, as you may recall, and it is down to $800 this year. Overall, this resulted in a reduction of maybe about 10 CFR or 14 CFR. Yeah, I would say about 14 CFR, but $22 to $25 in terms of duties. And but the biggest elephant in the room remains the freight rates. You take Guinea-Conakry, $20 to $25 per ton. You take Senegal, $25 to $30 per ton. And you take Guinea-Bissau, $190 per ton. It's not just this, it is also the fact that I think across all other West African countries, the freight rate was reduced this year compared to last year. Guinea-Bissau, always the exception. The shipping companies here have decided to increase the freight rates this year. Of course, everybody gives a lot of justifications, higher taxes, higher port taxes, and the like, difficulties at the port. But I think all of us in the business can agree that the difference between $30 up the coast compared to $190 down the coast, this is unreasonable. And this is what happens when you have an oligopolistic situation where only two major shipping companies operate here. And so I guess you make hay when the sun shines. Having said that, coming down to the crops, there has been a reduction in crop all across West Africa this year. Guinea-Bissau, probably the reduction is not going to be so much. Right now, I think the issue is that the farmers are holding a lot more of cashew at their level, RCN. The reason being prices are going up almost every day. So if I was a farmer and I was like, I can get 20 or 30 CFR if I just wait for a week, why not? And so that is making it difficult to estimate what is the real short crop. But we presume it's not going to be in the range of 25 to 30% that we're hearing from places like India. And coming to Senegal, Senegal definitely is going to have a much lower output this year. Not necessarily because of short crop, but because of, let's say, less smuggling or infiltration. I think that's the politically correct word, because of less smuggling from Bissau to Senegal. Last year, it was pretty much open season. I mean, I think more than 100,000 tons went from Guinea-Bissau to Senegal, as compared to the normal 40 or 50,000 tons. This year, I think we'll be back to normal. Of course, the minister in Bissau has assured us that he's taken adequate steps. And this is visible because not much of goods are going across the border to Senegal. And but will he be able to stop the complete flow? I doubt it, because if I'm living on this side of the border, and if I'm going to get 100 CFR more if I just cross the border, I will probably take that risk. And now we understand why the taxes are high in Guinea-Bissau. It's a major source of revenue for the government. And so these are just the practical situations that we face out here. Senegal, incidentally, just for your reference, because I don't see anybody from Senegal out here today on the panel. Last year, for your reference, there were 61 companies operating out of Senegal. And because of the huge inflow of RCN from Bissau to Senegal, everybody had a good time, let us say. And this encouraged more companies to come in this year. So this year, apparently, the number of registered exporters is 175. And last year, about 155,000 tons were exported from Senegal. We all assume the crop in Casamas, the South Senegal region, is not more than 45,000 tons. And this year, we expect the whole export from Ziguinchor towards Dakar to not exceed maybe 90 or 100,000 tons. So basically, you have too many buyers chasing too few trucks of RCN. And I was in Ziguinchor a couple of weeks ago. It was really amusing to see Indians running behind each and every truck, trying to hijack each other's trucks, offering 2 CFR, 5 CFR more for trucks. And well, that's part of the business. Outside of that, quality-wise, Guinea-Bissau has always been an exception. Even during the last El Nino season, the quality did not go down in Guinea-Bissau. It's the same thing this year also. We find good quality. 53 is quite common. 54 also. 52, now we find some lots coming in at 52 and 52 plus. And we see the evolution of the crop. It is expected the rains will come in probably in 2 weeks. We expect the farmers to become a lot more in the frame of mind to give up their crops by the time the rains start. But then the downside is the quality also might go down after the rains start. I think this much of an introduction is enough. I turn the mic over to my dear friend Pradeep, who's going to brief us on all the intricacies of bulk shipments and other kinds of shipments. Over to you, Pradeep.
Thank you, John. It's a pleasure to be here. And thanks for giving me that introduction. So I am Pradeep, representing Euroimpex. We are one of the earliest companies in Guinea-Bissau to start this agro-commodity trading. Today, I'm honored to address you on a topic it is very crucial to our industry, the challenges and opportunities in the shipping from Guinea-Bissau. So Guinea-Bissau is a nation rich in culture, renowned for its exceptional cashew quality, which drives the entire economy here. However, our journey is fraught with significant challenges, particularly in the shipping sector, which has been monopolized by a few shipping lines. These monopolies create conditions that are often more restrictive and costly compared to the neighboring countries, as we all know that. The cruise lies with a lot of limitations imposed by these shipping lines. We face severe constraints with container availability, vessel schedules, and port congestions. Whoever operates in Bissau, they all know this. So yeah, so these logistic bottlenecks means that our cargo is shipped in an extended period of 6 to 7 months minimum. And that delay is not just inconvenience, it's a substantial risk. Funds are tied up for many, many months, and we are at the mercy of a volatile market. That also, I think everyone will be in the same boat. Despite these obstacles, some exporters have managed to secure bulk vessels to key destinations like Vietnam and India. They grapple, however, this is not a small feat, but they grapple with port congestions, demurrage charges, and other cost inflating factors, which often make these shipments financially unsustainable. Even with the support of government and port authorities, still the challenges are there. These complexities inevitably drive us to a cost of freight, drive up the cost of freight, impacting value, enter the value chain. If we streamline these processes and manage them more efficiently, we can stand to significantly reduce the cost. This would not only benefit the exporters, but also to the farmers, and even the people of Guinea-Bissau will be the main people who will benefit out of this. So addressing these shipping challenges is not just about improving logistics, it's about empowering the economy, securing a better future to the community. By working together, advocating for more equitable shipping practices, we can create a more prosperous and stable environment for all stakeholders involved. Yeah, with this, I thank everyone for their attention. And yeah, we are open for questions.
Pradeep and Mr. John Rao for such a short and crisp presentation. Now, the participants can come forward with their questions. They can put it in the chat box also. One question to Mr. John Rao. One person has requested there is a lack of clarity on the freight rates from Guinea-Bissau. So he wants some kind of clarity on that one.
Okay, MSC has, CMA was the first to release the freight rates. $5,300 for a 40-footer from Port of Guinea-Bissau to Tuticorin. Vietnam is probably about $500-600 cheaper. Visakhapatnam and ports like that are a bit more expensive. MSC has come up with their freight rates. It works out about $200 cheaper than CMA, but then they have a lot of other charges and expenses and things like that. So you can take $190 per ton as a ballpark figure for freight rates from Guinea-Bissau, which is hugely out of the ballpark compared to the other countries on the West Coast. I mean, there's absolutely no logic except profiteering, if you want to be frank about it.
So how much crop has come out of Guinea-Bissau so far? Any idea on that one?
Yeah, we estimate about 60,000 tons has already reached the city of Guinea-Bissau. Nothing has been exported as yet, but we expect exports to start maybe a bulk vessel in the next week or 10 days and containerized vessels maybe in the next 2 weeks. And we expect the total crop to be not less than 200,000 tons this year. This is not including the amount that will be smuggled across the border to Guinea-Conakry and to Senegal. Maybe I should start using the politically correct word of infiltration. Smuggling is a bad word, I guess. Huh?
Yes. So what was the last year crop size, final crop size?
See, the quantity exported from the port of Guinea-Bissau was 190,000 tons, which is lower than what was exported in the previous year. The previous year, we exported 235,000 tons. So our estimation is this extra 45,000 tons just went across the border to Senegal. And Senegal normally gets about 50,000 tons from Guinea-Bissau. They received 100,000 tons last year.
So this year, how much will be exported out of Guinea-Bissau? Any idea on that one?
It looks like we'll
Same,
export maybe at
200,000.
least. Yeah, Pradeep, please go ahead.
No, it's the same. Whatever you have said, I think it should be 200,000 minimum should be exported from here.
Because there are better border controls.
Yes.
So what are the anti-smuggling measures taken by government during this season?
Well, from my side, I think Pradeep can also answer this
Yes.
because he also operates in both the countries. From my side, what I would say is it's very simple. The border authorities stop the smugglers from crossing the border. You know, RCN is a pretty bulky commodity. It's not something you can put in your pocket and smuggle across. You either get it across by motorcycle or by bicycle or even on donkey back. Sometimes you use small, push carts and things like that also. And all these things, you have to go through the tracks. I mean, not necessarily the main border crossings, not necessarily the bitumen roads, but even the small tracks. The whole of the border between Guinea-Bissau and Senegal, right from Kamarakunda, Mpac, Simbandi, Brasso, Salikini, all these places, there are a number of tracks. And all these tracks are monitored by the authorities. The Senegalese authorities really don't care because, I mean, if goods come into Senegal, in fact, they probably like it. And the Guinea-Bissau authorities, of course, they do care because they lose a lot of tax revenue apart from other things. And so, yes, so it's very simple. If the authorities on top give strict orders down the line, to a great extent, you will control the smuggling.
Okay. So any developments in terms of policy towards incentivizing local industry?
Guinea-Bissau, very interestingly, does not have any separate cashew policy. Considering that this is the biggest game in town, and for a small country without a major industrial base, I mean, they should be having a special cashew policy. I mean, you take Côte d'Ivoire, #1 in coffee, #1 in cocoa, #1 in cashew, and they have specific policies, specific incentives given to processors, to the extent that the processors can even, stop exporters from exporting, like has happened right now in Côte d'Ivoire. I mean, that is called encouragement to industry. And Guinea-Bissau, unfortunately, has not yet formulated any specific policy for cashew. There are these few brave people who, over the years, have put their fingers into cashew processing. I don't think any of the units are functioning right now. Maybe RA is functioning. Santi says he might want to do some processing this year. But apart from these two units, I don't know if anybody else who's really functioning on any significant scale.
Okay,
Pradeep,
thank you so
maybe
much.
you can add a little bit here. Pradeep?
No, it's the same, sir. It is just what exactly you have said. It's correct.
My next question to Mr. Pradeep. You have mentioned that the cost of shipping is high from Guinea-Bissau. What are the other challenges you foresee in terms of container availability and shipment slots?
See, that is another challenge. In Bissau, maximum 2 times a container vessel can come, and the container vessels can't take more than maybe 300, 400 containers, nothing more. So, and the number of companies operating in Bissau have gone high. So, everyone won't get space. Even the number of allotments will, volume wise, it will reduce. So, that will again push your cargo to take more time to export. So, even I see as a challenge like container availability and vessel schedules.
Okay.
Venkat,
So what
can
is the
I
transit
add a bit?
time to India and Vietnam? Is there any improvement when compared with previous years?
Normally it is 50, 60 days, but we have worst case, like it has taken even 120 days.
Venkat, could I
So
add a
it
bit
depends
here?
totally on the shipping line. Sorry, please tell, sir.
Yeah, sure, Pradeep. Okay, a couple of interesting anecdotes.
Yes, sir.
Some of our shipments of last year reached India, I think, in January 2024, right, Pradeep?
Yes.
And in a way, this was good because at least we got better prices. But normally this is unacceptable, having a 120-day window for transit time. The other issue is operating at the port out here is an adventure or a challenge, depending on which way you look at it. I mean, I was talking to one of the shipping agents here, and he told me the last time the port of Guinea-Bissau was dredged was when his father was running his company. And he's been running his company for the past 30 years. So the last time dredging was done was maybe 35, 40 years ago. We say the maximum summer draft of the Big K is 6.5 meters. All the ship captains who come and keep complaining to us, they say it is not really 6.5 meters. And the fact is that vessels can move out only during high tide. I mean, these are the challenges we face. There are no tugboats. One of the captains, in fact, complained that he asked for the tugboats. We said we don't have tugboats out here. We have the ship captain, the marine captain, the port captain going on board and then bringing in the port pilot and bringing in vessels. And yes, cases of vessels dashing each other is not unheard of at the port of Guinea-Bissau. So yes, it's an adventure working at the port in Guinea-Bissau. Mr. Pradeep and EuroMPEX do a lot of bulk shipments. So I think he'll need a separate session to just tell you all the interesting situations he has faced over the years.
Over to Mr. Rajiv Kumar. Mr. Rajiv Kumar is there? Mr. Rajiv Kumar, you have to unmute so that you can ask your question. Over to Mr. Rajiv Kumar.
Yeah, hi, Pradeep and John. How are you doing?
Hi, all good, all good. Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
So my question is regarding the, as you know, there's been a lot of excitement in the ASEAN market because of reports of short crop, with estimates varying from 7 to 40%. Now, if you are saying that you expect 200,000 tons to be shipped out of Bissau, that means there is no real significant short crop in Bissau, right?
See, to answer, if it is my part, see, there is no, what do you call, formal or authoritatively, nobody can say. We are just assuming, just with what we see but see, the thing is that nobody knows. The real fact, when the cashew stop only, we will know, okay, there is a short crop. That is to be very frank.
But
We are assuming.
Compared to previous years, do you see less flow into Bissau or anything like that?
Yes, flows have reduced. Maybe we don't know whether it is an early season or, whether it is a late season or we have no idea. To me, I don't have any idea. But the flow is comparatively less if you compare with other years.
Okay, Pradeep, thanks for your frankness.
No, thank you.
Rajiv, if I can add to what Pradeep said, there are 2 or 3 issues here. Like we said, the export from the port of Guinea-Bissau was 190,000 tons last year, not because of any short crop, but because of a larger volume of exfiltration. This year, we expect it to be the same 190,000 tons. So even if there's a short crop, the 50,000 tons of extra goods that went across the border are probably not going to go across. And so that would be one kind of compensation. The second issue is, right now, we know that a lot of the farmers are holding goods at their level. And 92% of all cashew in Guinea-Bissau is small holdings of 2 to 3 acres each. So a farmer, even if each farmer decides to hold 12 or 13 bags, that's a huge volume that's being held back. And we expect that to start getting released quite briskly once the rains start. So there are these factors that complicate estimating the crop from here. If you talk about visual inspection, I know that Mr. Pradeep had done a 4-day trip across the border, right from Senegal into Guinea-Bissau. Mr. Pradeep is one of those guys who really likes to rough it out, eat the local food, get food poisoning and all that sort of thing. So he did this whole major trip across all the 5 regions of Guinea-Bissau. And he does not see any significant short crop. There might be a delay in crop, okay, due to climatic factors or whatever it is. But how much of that is going to translate into short crop, we don't know. Take a guess, maybe 10, 20%, not more than that. But like I said, that would be more than compensated by the fact that not much goods are going to go across the border. I mean, I feel sorry for the people operating from Ziguinchor, including myself, because the price today went up to, I think, about 745 CFR. These are crazy prices. I mean, there's no sale price, there's no contract bid or offer or anything that exists at these price levels. But then the fact that you have about 170 odd companies sitting out there, and each guy wants to get at least like 200, 300, 500 tons into his warehouse to show that, you know, he's done something. It's driving prices up to crazy levels. And so, yeah, so that's what is going on, Rajiv.
Okay. Mr. Nicholas is there? Mr. Nicholas?
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you very much for the very informative talks. You speak about volumes coming in once the rain start hitting. What impact do you believe that will have on price? If people are withholding now, but then imagine they will release when the rain comes because there is no adequate storage capacity, so they would then fear for quality, I assume. Please correct me. What do you believe it will then have an impact on price once big volumes start hitting Bissau quickly?
Pradeep, would you like to take a shot at that first? Hello, Pradeep, can you hear me?
Hello? Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry.
Yeah, Mr. Nicholas wants to know if, you know, the rain start and the farmers start releasing goods at a brisker pace, are there chances of the price going down?
So that is what normally happens, but that is what we also expect, as these prices are like too high to work. But again, there is a chance like the quality also may come down. So yeah, I don't know how to balance this, but yeah, now the qualities are reasonably good. Some areas are not. But when the rain starts, obviously you will get more moisture cargoes, more low out on cargoes. So it is how you take it as a question, or how you dry it, or what are the options you have. All these matters.
I agree with Pradeep on this, but the one point I disagree on is I doubt the prices are going to go down, because we have seen so far that people are just buying very aggressively, especially a few of the processors from India have been buying extremely aggressively. I don't know, is it because they did not cover enough quantity in the other origins? And the fact is that these are the only three origins left. In that, Gambia really doesn't count because it's just about 20,000 tons. So right now you have crop only in Senegal, only in Guinea-Bissau. So anybody who wants to cover anything from the northern cycle has to do it out here. So it doesn't seem to me that prices will go down, because I know very well, I mean, I know a lot of people who are talking to us and who have not yet come down to Bissau because of high prices. And the minute they hear prices are going down, I'm sure they're all going to book tickets and come down to Bissau. So, Nicola, I really don't think prices are going to go down. But then, hey, we've all got our opinions, right?
Thank you very much.
So one more question. How many buyers were there in Bissau last year and how many buyers are there this year?
Last year, I think it was 71. This year, I think it's a lot more. Am I right, Pradeep?
Yes, we don't have any official numbers, but there are a lot. All the warehouses are booked, so we have no idea.
One question to Mr. Pradeep. Bissau
Yeah.
ship outs almost 200,000 tons of ASEAN every year. In that, how
Okay.
much is of break bulk vessels?
See, break bulk will be hardly, you can say 30% or 40% maximum.
Okay.
But I think 30% is a good number. 30%, within 30%, it will be bulk vessels. But depending on the freights, again, bulk is not easier way to ship it out. There are a lot of challenges you face in bulk vessel. You need quantity, you need berthing spaces. The demurrages will be very high. So mostly people prefer doing in containers, but both are a challenge in Bissau because the bottleneck is the port. The port is small, the congestion will be there.
So break bulk is easy for the exporters, or container is preferred by the exporters? Which
See,
one
it
is
depends
easy
on
for
who is your buyer. If the buyer is okay with doing bulk vessels, yes, you can do. But again, loading is a big constraint. You have a lot of challenges involved in bulk vessel loading.
Okay, what are the advantages and disadvantages? Can you tell us more
Sir,
on that?
advantages means, yeah, you can load a good volume in one go. That is the biggest advantage what I see. The disadvantage is preference will always goes to food, import, container vessels. The last will be the bulk vessels because it is a privately owned vessel or it is a chartered vessel. So getting space and berth is the main challenge. There is only one berth which can accommodate bigger vessels. So if containers and other food vessels are coming, chances of not berthing is very high. You have to bunker it outside for longer period.
Okay. What is the freight difference between container and bulk vessels?
So container I can say because container they have issued the freight. It is between, as John sir said, 190 to 215, depending on what shipping line you are taking. But the bulk varies. It depends on how you negotiate, what are your terms, and you don't know exactly how much you're going to pay the demurrage, how much you have to pay other services. So it's totally upon person to person.
See, in a way, it will be cheaper than container, or what is that one? I don't want the exact
It
figure.
should be slightly, yeah, it should be slightly cheaper than the container.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let's say a ballpark figure would be $10, $20 or $20, $30 cheaper.
more or less. But again, there will be challenges at the destination like broken bags,
Of course.
pilferages, weight shortage, all these will be factors.
So in both the cases, the transit time is same or different?
No, bulk vessel will be a faster option if you can load it fast. Once the vessel leaves, it will reach fast. But the challenge is how long you need to fill the vessel.
That means approximately how much time will take from filling the vessel to the destination?
From India, from Bissau to India, it will take 30 days. From Bissau to Vietnam, it will take 40, 45 days.
So that's the reason people are preferring bulk vessel. Can I assume like that?
Yes, probably because they get their cargo in a stretch. But if buyers have a capacity, yes, it is very good option. Most buyers prefer to get it in part consignment, so their fund flow is not affected.
So when the exports are likely to commence?
I think now so many companies have got this export license, and maybe by this month you can. I think some companies will be starting in containers. Bulk vessel already started.
Okay. So question to Mr. Rao, what is the current CNF price to India and Vietnam, sir? For 52
We are here.
LPs?
We are hearing bids and offers in the range of 1,550 to 1,600. A lot would depend on payment terms and other factors, right? So the standard for Bissau normally is 52 to 20. This year, I think quality is quite good. So 52, 53, 220 would be the quality standard. And right now we're hearing, I heard even prices higher than 1,600. But then I think that was with like CAD kind of payment or 10, 20% advance kind of payment and all that. And so basically everybody's playing a blind hand right now. I mean, we're going to price heights that we've never seen before, or rather seen many years ago. We've gone up to 1,700, 725 in earlier years.
Yes.
But this year, right now, we're around 1,600, 625 right now. I'm talking about CNF. Huh?
CNF, okay.
Yeah.
So where do you see the prices going forward in the next 2 months? Whether it will come down or stabilize, or what do you feel?
I think kernel prices have already moved up. ASEAN prices are moving up further. And these two countries being the last, points of the northern cycle, I definitely think RCN prices have a scope for going up. And now it depends. Let us see. Right now, I think about 5 or 6 vessels have reached India. And we don't see any significant drop in RCN prices, even though such a huge volume has come into India. So this shows that probably this might not be a repeat of 2022, when you had about 300,000-400,000 tons extra RCN that landed up at Indian ports, because Vietnam did not buy very strongly. And that caused a whole huge problem for all of us. And this year, I don't see that happening. There seems to be generally low stock all over. And kernel prices probably need to move up higher. So I think it's basically a Mexican standoff. Buyers, processors staring down RCN exporters staring down processors. Let's see who blinks first.
So how is the response from Vietnamese buyer? Is it good? Because considering the higher prices, normally Vietnam may not give such a high price. How was the response
This is a
from
question for
Vietnamese?
Pradeep because he operates in Vietnam also. Pradeep, please.
No, Vietnam is a little like they haven't started any buying as of now with these price levels.
Okay. So Vietnam may not be aggressive unlike last year, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if the price changes, yes, but as of now and whatever happened so far, they are not aggressive.
That means at this price, they are not comfortable and they are not aggressive. Maybe if the price
That's
comes
what we
down, then
can,
they may buy.
yes.
Okay.
That is the inference from what we see now.
Okay, okay. Any other questions from the participants? They can either raise their hands or put it in the chat box. So what is the Senegal crop size?
Senegal, original Senegal crop size, we don't expect it to be more than 40,000-45,000 tons.
Okay.
The rest of it is infiltration from Guinea Bissau.
So any old crop left in Bissau, last year's crop, or it is sold out already?
Nothing
Pradeep?
significant.
Okay.
Just to add to what Pradeep had said, last year the government opened 3 land crossings also into Senegal to help people holding old crop to evacuate their goods. And especially one exporter who was holding a significant quantity used the land route to ship out a lot of his goods via Senegal. So yes, there is not much of old crop left. We do see occasional trucks coming in with some bags of old crop stuck in between, but not much.
So one final question, what will be the combined crop size of Senegal, Gambia and Bissau during this year when compared with last season or when compared with the normal season?
I think that's an interesting question, maybe a casino kind of question where we all have our answers. The traditional conventional wisdom is that Gambia is about 20,000-25,000 tons. Is there any significant short crop? We really don't know. We're not able to estimate it right now. Senegal is around 40,000-45,000 tons. That's a normal crop. Is there any significant short crop? I presume not more than 10-15%. And coming to Guinea-Bissau, like I said, anything between 10 and 20% maybe, but at least the trees and all that we saw, the fruiting, flowering was quite good. And but I think from the port of Bissau, you will not see a drop in exports for the simple reason they've controlled the smuggling quite a bit. The exfiltration has been controlled reasonably well this year. So I don't see any major drop in export from the port of Bissau. Pradeep, what do you feel?
Yes, it's the same, sir. Like crop size, it's just an assumption. Like as you rightly said, everyone have their own opinions. We really don't know what exactly, because there is no authentic numbers.
Okay. The next question is, can we expect well-dried cargo from Bissau provided farmers are holding significant stock with them.
One comment I'd like to make here is the reason why we are receiving really good quality crop this year is because the government opened the season quickly. So crops started moving to our warehouses quickly, which means we immediately started drying quickly. One thing I must point out is that compared to Senegal, in Guinea-Bissau, we exporters provide jute bags in advance to farmers to pack the crop. Unlike in Senegal, where it's packed in PP bags, you know, the old rice bags and things like that. So yes, these are some of the good measures in Guinea-Bissau. Last year, bags were stacked at farm level for, I think, more than 2 or 3 months, practically zero ventilation, very congested areas and all that. And I think that led to a deterioration in the crop, also deterioration of the color. And this year we are not facing that, thankfully. I think now coming to your question of, can we expect well-dried crop? Well, that will vary exporter to exporter. I don't know if any exporter who says, I don't sell well-dried crop. I mean, I don't know if anybody in the market who says, I sell wet crop. So then it depends on the credibility of the exporter and the willingness of the exporter to incur. Each day of drying costs us about $15 per ton. Okay, so it all depends. Does the exporter have no problem spending that extra $50 to maintain the quality? Or does he feel, I'd rather cut corners? So it's a very individualized situation. Pradeep, would you say something about that?
Yeah, exactly the same. Nothing more.
So any other
Hi, John. Amit here.
participants?
Hi, Amit, how are you?
All good. So, John,
Good.
when the question I had put up, I exactly meant the same thing because Bissau farmers are normally known to hold their stock in PP bags. So, since you told that they're holding some significant inventory now, I was just worried that will that deteriorate the quality and the color? But I think you've answered it in the first part of the question.
Amit, a small correction. I didn't say Bissau farmers
Yeah.
hold it in PP bags. I said they hold it in jute bags, in fact, compared to Senegal
Yeah.
farmers hold it in
Correct.
PP bags.
No, the first part of the presentation, we were told that Bissau farmers are holding stock. So that's what got me worried. Was it in jute bags or PP bags? That's all.
They are holding it in jute bags, but even their
Okay.
holding of stock has been for about a month now, as compared to last year when they were holding for about 2 to 3 months. You know, last year the albaras and all were issued probably end of May, June. So right from probably March to June, they were holding for 3 months, you know, at their level. This year, everything has been pretty much open right from March.
Thank you, John. Thank you.
Thanks, brother. Thanks, Amit.
Any other questions from the participants? Because we are going to wind up this section.
I see one question in the chat
Yes.
section.
Yes.
It says the golden question is, why such inflated
Price at the bush level.
prices at
Does
bush
that
level?
indicate short crop or late buying?
That just indicates crazy buying by 3 or 4 parties at the buyer level. I mean, these are the parties who've been consistently pushing up price this year. Of course, they must be having their own good reasons. And then, but that is the only reason why price has gone up. Tomorrow, if buying is held down for about maybe a couple of days, prices will immediately fall. In fact, just about 3 days ago, in the evening, prices fell for about 5 or 10 CFR because there were not many buyers. So the price going up here is just a function of buyers buying crazily. I mean, I've actually asked people, I said, how are you buying at these prices? Why are you buying at these prices? Now, I can understand if a processor, especially a big size or a medium sized processor who has a $200-300 advantage over others, if he's buying at high prices, I can understand. But why is everybody else buying at high prices? It's the same herd mentality. So I see the guy at the right buying at high price. I see the guy on the left buying at high price. I don't want to be left out, so I'm buying. You know? We're all part of it, by the way.
I guess maybe it could be the reason of West African short crop in general, because Bissau is the last one in the line. So Bissau may get the benefit of that one. If there is a shortage of crops in other West African countries, that could be the reason the prices are moving higher. Correct?
You know, Venkat, I mean, obviously, this is a question we discuss almost every evening when we guys meet. And this is a question we really discussed in detail. everybody has their own reason. Better quality crop in Bissau as compared to, let's say, Ghana, current Ghana or IBC. Last point, as you mentioned, okay, likelihood of being able to cover before the Tanzania or the east, the southern cycle starts. There are so many reasons, and it could be any of them. Who knows?
Mr. Khan is there. One last question from Mr. Khan. Mr. Khan is there.
Hello, good afternoon, sir. John sir, this is Jishan here. So,
Yeah.
sir, my question is, since you said that this Guinea-Bissau, almost 60,000 crop almost covered at Port City, Bissau, right, sir?
Yes, yes.
60,000. Yes, and
60.
Pradeep sir also said that bulk shipment almost started also. Container shipment not started,
Yes.
but bulk shipment almost started. So
Yes.
my question is here, like what are the size has been loaded into bulk shipment, and what will be the arrival you are seeing in India, like this bulk shipment?
Pradeep, would you like to handle that?
Yes, sir. Sorry.
This is the bulk vessel that is currently loading. I think it's about 20,000 tons, right?
No, it's a 7,500 ton vessel.
It's a smaller one. Okay.
Yeah.
So they wanted to know if it loads on time, let's say in the next 1 week, by when can it reach India? I think the basic question is, when could the first Guinea-Bissau arrivals reach India?
See, it depends. I don't know where the vessel is destined to. But again, after loading, 30 days.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir. I saw one question from Shafiq Saab in the chat box.
Yes,
So once the direct processors exit, would you see a correction in price? Shafiq Saab, I doubt there's going to be a correction in price. Like I said, there are so many people waiting to actually buy tickets and come into Guinea-Bissau. And if there is a price correction, and given the fact that there's been a general short crop in West Africa, I think I doubt prices are going to go down. Pradeep differs from me on this, by the way. He feels that there may be a chance of crop going down, so of price going down. Time will tell.
Yeah, for me, there is one more reason to say that. That is, say, Ziguinchor, they stopped this on-road shipments. So now everything will be through Ziguinchor port, which may drive the prices down there because of the feasibility. Parallelly, this should impact Bissau market. I don't know. This is again something which is debatable.
Wait and watch.
Yeah.
Maybe
One
Mr.
more
Beckett can
question is
organize
that
another session after a month when we can see what's happening.
any shipment started from Senegal?
Yes.
Okay.
See, in Senegal, there are two things. One, the port was not functioning for export shipments for the past 2 years. So almost all the containers used to be picked up at Dakar port. I was talking earlier about the port of Ziguinchor. So earlier, the containers were picked up at Dakar port, brought down to Ziguinchor, stuffed, and then sent back to Dakar port. And now, again, the government has revived this plan of they want to do the shipments from Ziguinchor port. I mean, if nothing else, from Ziguinchor to Dakar and then onwards. And this is the reason why it was stopped, in fact, 2 years ago, was because it was not working. You just can't handle those volumes. I mean, you apply for, let's say, 50 boxes, and the shipping line allocates you 6 boxes or 5 boxes or things like that. So it really was not working earlier. And but then the government, in its wisdom in Senegal, has decided to do it again. So let's wait and watch, see what happens.
Okay. Sir, with this, we will wind up this webinar. However, the chat box section will be open for 10 more minutes. I thank the speakers, Mr. John Rao and Mr. Pradeep, for putting up a short and sweet presentation and answering the participants' questions in a detailed manner. Thank you once again, the speakers and the participants.
Thank you.
Making this webinar a grand success. Now the chat box section will be open for a few more minutes. Participant can chat in that one.
Thank you.
so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Yes.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Pradeep, for a very honest insight about Guinea-Bissau. It's been wonderful attending this webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.